Let's try it without the mic on mute. This might be a little bit more quiet. I'm going to have to encrypt this introduction. And of course, most people are going to miss it because they rock up late, but such is life. There's a certain time in every month where a lady who is in every other way perfect can become very much imperfect. And having had a life by my own mistakes of selecting as one psychotherapist, as two psychotherapists said in different ways, if they put me in a room full of women, within 5 minutes I'll be chatting up the one that would do me the most damage. And 20 years later, I finally understood what they were talking about and done something about it, and finally found someone that cared and was considerate and had sympathy when required, empathy when required, and loving and caring. However, as I'm sure you all know, when the moon is when the moon's doing its bit, it can go a bit funny. And I've got a couple of buttons that when they're pressed, I'm ready to, make sure my suitcase is ready. Do you know what I mean? It gets like that with me. I'm a very patient and understanding person, but there's a couple of things that I just not will not refuse to tolerate. That was made apparent, and I'm trying to encrypt this somewhat, of course, but the subject in question has really gone to a lot of trouble to reverse the impact of said buttons pressed. But also, in fairness, having worked out for a couple of hours a day, getting back into that teaching gig, it's half midnight, and I'm usually shouting and playing music and all that lot. That's why we had that intro. So it's a bit of give and take. Just 10 years ago, I'd have been on an aeroplane somewhere by now. I don't put up with that. But a bit of understanding. She put up with me nearly dying at Christmas. She put up with me discharging myself from a ICU against medical advice. I mean, nobody's perfect. Talking about nobody being perfect, watch this. Bosh. Hello, son. Well, that was your mic's muted. I'm glad it was.
Yeah, nobody's perfect. Thanks. Hi, everyone.
It was good. It was a great segue, wasn't it? Superb. Yeah. I even thought, I even surprised myself with that one. Right, people, I've got some wicked clips for you. Right, let's just get the inevitable out the way, the new novel. So thank you everyone who's offered to be beta readers, but I've got a group of regular beta readers, but I've also taken on a couple more, but I've got all the ones I need now. And here's the weird thing. I've done the first draft in like 8 weeks, and I'm now halfway through, 90,000 words. I'm halfway through the second draft. But here's the thing. The novel that took me 7-8 years to write, avant-garde, postmodern, wordplay, fractular structure, picaresque, unreadable nightmare. Redrafting that takes years. It's so difficult. It's hard to read. It takes a lot of work. So to edit, and with the size of it, But this one, I went back to the start because that's how I work. I just write and then I go back to start and do it again. But because it's from a 14-year-old's point of view, it's a diary of a 14-year-old in 1986. But because of that, there's hardly any editing to do. ChatGPT does all the punctuation for me. I get him to do that, like a bit of proofreading. But the actual sentence structure, I haven't got to worry about it being right or deliberately wrong. But when you play with grammar and syntax rules, you've got to know them to be able to play with them correctly. It's like, I won't go down that road because no one wants to hear me banging on about literature for half hour. But you know, it amazed me last night. In about 3 hours, I've done a third of the second draft, and it'll only take this draft. After this draft, beta readers, see what they say, make changes, get it in Amazon. It'll be in the show. I keep saying November. It could be October now. Because, do you understand what I'm saying, Packer? Does it make sense? Because if you understand, everyone will. But he's a 14-year-old. He doesn't know how to write. He's not a writer. He's just a bloke who knows how to string words together. So that's encouraging on top of everything else, you know, because I'm grafting all day and really working. It's really killing me. The fact that I reckon I can have this second draft done in a couple of weeks is news to my ears, because I need some proper night's sleep somewhere along the line. Anyway, so that's good. Thanks to everyone who donated to the Buy Me a Coffee, because that was actually for a cover for the other novel. I've got that tucked away for a cover for the other novel, but I might use a bit of that. This book's going to have a professionally done cover. I'm not going to try and do it myself or get some idiot on Fiverr from Bangladesh to do it for 20 quid. I want someone who knows how to sell books. And it won't be a cover that I like. If I have my way, I'll look at Brad dropping a Lady Godiva. He says, I thought this would be fun for you to read out. Skull and Crossbones times 20 odd. I can't do that, Brad. But thank you. That'll go towards the cover. All donations are going towards the cover. So if you want to make my dream come true, know that all because self-publishing isn't free. You have to pay for things. Anyway, that's where all donations were going. So let's get the grift out of the way. At the top of the YouTube chat, you've got Entropy and you've got Buy Me a Coffee. If you use Buy Me a Coffee, you get a little video reply made specially for you, a bespoke reply, and Entropy is there. And I check them regularly throughout the stream. And if I see one, you'll get your moment of glory on the stream, like you do with the Super Chat. And the Super Chat, like Bradley has just shown us, is at the bottom of the YouTube chat. Brad's got a Super Chat. He's putting out loads of content. Not a Super Chat, a Substack, worth checking out. Anyone who took any of my advice with investments, and I called SoFi, I called AMD, I called Palantir. I've had a load of emails from people saying, I don't want this out there, but you know, one geezer's 80 grand up. Investing in stocks that I suggested, it's not financial advice, never has been, never will be, that I suggested 80 grand up. He said, I can't believe it. He said, I really don't know how to thank you. I thought, well, you give me $1,000 if you want. He didn't know.
10%.
Yeah, some money. You know, that massive amount. But I'm over the moon. Like I say, I've had like a dozen people saying, and to be honest with you, I did get a bit lucky because I called stocks that have gone really well. And there's
has he bought your brick
that haven't. I don't want to give out any information as to.
Okay, fair enough.
I think, you know, if you want to. If people start joining the dots.
No, I didn't mean that. I just meant, you know.
Oh yeah, that's the other grift. I forgot. Good call. There is one more grift. It's the Scrubs wall on the house. Me and the missus are hopefully one day planning to build in the provinces. We've got the land and we built the footings in the jungle. We're gonna put the names of any Scrubs who make a 20 quid donation on the wall, and that's what we've got already. Look, all that page to the bottom, and we started on the second page. If you would like to go down in literary and YouTube history and have your Scrubs name or whatever engraved into a brick or a bit of plaster on the back of my house in the provinces, that's a £20 donation. It's a ridiculous grift. I do get that, but it's a bit of fun as well. I didn't really think that nearly 30 people would do it though. It's going to be so much work. The missus is going to be like plastering and all that, and I'm going to be at the back with an hammer and chisel going, whoops, how'd you spell? Anyway, bless you, Arklow, dropped €10. An Ayrton Senna, as we like to say around my manor, you know, Phnom Penh. When I say, have you got an Ayrton out here, they're all over it. Yeah, nice one, Arklow. He says, all right, Danger and Picard. I got to read out, lads. I'll try and catch a fault. Yeah, you haven't. I've noticed your absence, but I'll tell you what. Thank you, Arklow. It's very kind. Me and Packer were talking about how deep your voice was, how extraordinarily deep it is. And I don't know if I've shown you, Packer. I won't show it now, but on the Buy Me a Coffee, Arklow made a generous donation over there, and I left him a video reply, and he left me a video reply. And Jesus, man, his first word, it's like the whole house started rumbling. It was so low. He was like, oh, I can't even go as low. The impression wouldn't be worth it. But it was like, you know. Anyway, thank you, Arklow. Much appreciated. Otto says
there's whales in the middle of the Pacific going, what?
There you go. Yeah, the old orcas are swimming in circles. Otto says that Palantir is evil. Tell me why, though. Tell me why it's evil, and we can maybe discuss it. But just an accusation. There's nothing really I can say to that. Put it like this: if I can give you this much, if it came to a war, I would rather be on the side that had Palantir than the side that didn't, because the side that hasn't will get crushed based on the fact that they don't have Palantir. They'll have their own versions of it, but nowhere near as effective. So, I mean, war is evil. You know, Palantir is as evil as a gun. I mean, give me more. Give me something. If you want to talk about it, we can discuss it, but just not liking it. Hello, Anglo. I wasn't sure if you'd get me invite. Good to see you. Dotty's, I read earlier that Dotty was doing her washing or something. JP, hang on, as Pizzle suggested, he's going to start writing a novel. At this rate, my novel will be out before Christmas. Please do. Please, the pair of you, write a novel. Please do. Don't forget, I know that the other novel's 800 pages. It took me 7 years. You know, it took Catcher in the Rye, Salinger, took him 8 years to write Catcher in the Rye. It's about 200 pages. Some writing isn't always easy. Sometimes it takes years, sometimes it takes a few weeks. But please do it. Get on with it. John Palmer, you told me that you were going to hit me up and I was going to help motivate or advise you how to get some writing done. Just do it. It's so good for you. Anyway, that's the grifting out of the way. That's the novel out of the way. Pags is exhausted. Pizzle's got his first page done. I wonder how many first pages of novels there are laying around the world compared to the amount of last pages there aren't. The amount of people in my life, you can imagine this, Packer, the amount of people in my life who've gone, I've started a novel, will you read the first few pages? And I go, yeah, I will, yeah. When you've written it, I'll read the first few pages. Because what they actually want me to do is read what they think is amazing. And it's usually shit. It takes years to become interesting, at least. And so, yeah, I will read the first few pages. I'll read the whole thing, you know, when you finish it. And I've never heard back about that from any of them. Most of them, when about a month later, I'll go, how's that novel getting on? And I don't say it like to be an arsehole. I like to encourage people to write. And they're like, I read it a couple of days later. It's just rubbish. And I said, well, yeah, it would be. It's like if you went to if you'd never laid bricks before and you went and tried to build a house, you know, it's a skill, isn't it? It takes practice. What did I put out today from Mark Twain? The man who does not read has got nothing. It has got the same. I can't remember something about hang on. The man who does not read
has the same advantage as the man who cannot.
There you go. That'll do. Has got the same advantages as the man who does not read. It's a great call. That'll do. That will do. Arbitrary says 20 quid is a brick of weed in Cambodia. Okay. Not quite sure what that means.
You can get a soldering iron and burn our names into them then.
Oh, it will definitely get done. Don't worry about that. I can't take money off people and not provide. Speaking of which, thanks to everyone who made it into the Discord members streams. There are actual members perks on this channel now. I mean, I know I feel like I've let the side down by actually providing perks. Bloody Dave's Waffle House, so he couldn't get it sorted. Packer, you had trouble as well, didn't
this
you?
mic here, this mic right now, this one working here, yeah. When I test it on Discord, when I come out going to settings, it's fine. As soon as I put Discord on, no, it won't work.
All we got from you is
Yeah.
And Dave,
well, I will turn up, but I will just have to sit there and listen because this is a perfectly good mic. I'm not buying another one.
Nearly everyone's had trouble with it. Even I've had. The first one we ever done, I couldn't talk. I just had to listen. But we had a couple this week, and they were good fun. Some good chats. Had some good chats about music. Yeah, they're really nice, or laid back. I'd also like to say hello to any new. I've got loads of new subscribers this month, and I know why. It's on the back of the Gary Stevenson videos. So depressing. The comments on those videos are so disappointing. You know, they've really bought that blag. And look, they don't understand anything about body language. You know, in psychology, the sort of consensus is that when we communicate, only about 10% is words. And so when I'm talking about his micro expressions, like there's that bit where he looks like a little baby trying to sort of ask his mum, and I pointed out, that's not me digging him out. That's me showing how he behaves. And there's indicators there about why he's doing it, his character, his motivations. You know, we all know this. We all know when someone in a boozer's trying to have a fight or wants to start a fight with you long before fighting's mentioned, because we can read these things. But the comments were just like, you just don't like him. And really, I don't. Yeah. I don't care about him. I'm not like. Maybe I'd quite like to have a conversation with him actually, but like him, I don't know him. And like someone would say, you know, there were very few people actually engaged in arguments, and the people who did, fair play. I engaged back, and I said to them, "This is more like it. We both might learn something." But Horace, bless him, Horace popped this up on Twitter earlier, which I think is kind of interesting. Let me see if I can make it a bit bigger for you. That's what I told her. Have a look at this. I mean, not that this necessarily... Well, hang on. I'll show you the little clip first. Hang on. So Gary made a video the other day, literally the other day, saying that his new plan is to use YouTube to take over the UK. That's not me just taking the piss. He's sitting there. It's like he's just discovered social media and realizes that it's got influence.
Chris,
really, he's like, you know, Donald Trump used social media and that's why he's president. So what we need to do, and it's like, are you really saying this? I mean,
I thought that was our plan.
Well, it's quite funny because he keeps talking about in 2025, he keeps talking about the alt-right. The alt-right know how to use YouTube. I'm like, who's the alt-right? Who's that? Who is that? Who is that?
Not me, I can't get on Discord.
Even the alt-right stopped calling themselves the alt-right about 6 years ago. It's just anyway, have a look at this little clip I've got. That right, it's important you see this first. Hopefully you'll be able to hear it. It's always a bit weird with the old X. It's only a short clip, but check this out. And then there's a little denouement that will tickle you. I'll mute myself because I can't be bothered with my headphones.
Everybody in the street knows the political center has failed. Everybody knows. So something has to change. There's a quote from Milton Friedman, American economist. At times of crisis, the new idea will be chosen from the ideas lying around at the time. Everybody knows that we will get something new in politics. And it is really obvious what the loudest idea lying around now is, which is the far right. And the second...
If only. If only. I mean, but carry on, Gareth.
The loudest idea lying around now is, which is the far right. And the second loudest idea is us, tax the rich. So if you are a billionaire and you know that politics is going to move either towards the far right or tax the rich, what are you going to do? You are going to fund the far right, and they are doing it aggressively. Look at what Elon Musk is doing. These guys know that they don't want to pay higher taxes, and they are correct that the way to prevent yourself from having to pay higher taxes is to aggressively fund the far right.
Right, so you get the idea, yeah? You get the idea. Our friend Gareth is now complaining that billionaires are funding this mythical far right. I mean, I still don't know what that means. I mean, where does the far right become the right? Where is that? At what point? I mean, if you start goose stepping, I don't know if you've got an Oswald Mosley book on your Kindle or something, but that little clip was put underneath, and this is what Horus, bless him, put up on Twitter for me. Well, or drew my attention to it. Nice one, Horus. Have a look at this. Can you see it? Let me know, Packer. Can you see that, people? Gary Stevens is propped up by the billionaire Mon family and is published and promoted by one of the biggest media conglomerates in the world. I mean, you know, and this is what I say on the videos. I say, you know, the geezers on Novara Media, there's about 10 of his videos on Novara Media who are out and out communists. That's not me interpreting them. They say they are. It's BreadTube, isn't it? They're commies. And I said, why do you think he's everywhere, this bloke? Why do you think he gets on the mainstream media? Because he's a working class hero. So the working classes, they give him hope. He gives them hope. But the media can tolerate that because he's a false idol, because he's offering no real solutions. And then to complain that the far right are being propped up by billionaires, and our friend Gareth is being propped up by billionaires on the left. I mean, I haven't got a problem with people with money supporting politics they believe in. It's a sensible thing to do with money, isn't it? But he continually calls it out. These people, they lobby government to make it better for them. Yeah, like everyone with money, left, right, centre, far right. I mean, imagine the far right was so far right you couldn't actually see it. It was just a myth almost, or dare I say a mythos. Anyway, let me just have a quick entropy check. Nada, nil, nish. Let me just have a buy me a coffee check. Absolutely sweet FA. Right, I have to say, Dave from Dave's Waffle House, who still hasn't emailed me, he came on to one of the Discord voice chats, but he couldn't get it working. His mic kept appearing, then disappearing. I don't know whether he kept trying, but he was there for about 30 minutes. He might have been trying to get it to work or just sitting listening. But bless you, Dave, if you're watching this, for trying. I mean, the first one we ever done, I couldn't get it working, and it's kind of counterintuitive how you sort it out. I don't even know how I sorted it out. I logged out, I logged back in again, I done the audio test and it worked. But before that, it didn't. I don't remember changing much, or if anything. So there's that. Right, let's get into, I've got to read you out this. So I asked ChatGPT. I said, hang on a little bit. Let's pedal back a bit. So most of you will know. Yeah, I have no memory of reading a bit of your writing at all. That is the truth. But I get sent loads of stuff, Pizzle. I probably would have read it though, but you know. Right. What I tend to do now when people send me long emails is just get Gemini to summarize them. It's brilliant. You can just say, summarize this in 2 lines, and then you can get it to reply as well, which is quite good in your own voice. Right. So most of you will probably know that Nancy Pelosi has been accused of insider trading for years. Now, just in case you don't know, yeah, cheers, Packer. I've got a pint of tea here that I made 5 hours ago, still hot.
So you said Nancy Pelosi, and suddenly I felt like a drink.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Gosh, shouting at you then. Sorry.
She's well known for getting. You know, when you're in government, you know what changes are going to be occurring when it comes to policy, when it might be around like the Food and Drug Administration or whatever. You know what's coming. And if you just get someone like someone who's good at investing, they might say, well, if that happens, these stocks are going to absolutely fly because that opens the door, blah, blah, blah. And Pelosi is well known. There's even a subreddit on Reddit, obviously. It's called something like Pelosi's Trades, and you can just follow them. The problem is, although by law they have to tell you their trades, there's about a 30-day delay. So it's not like Pelosi or her husband, most of it goes through, makes a trade and you can copy it, but sometimes it works out. So anyway, I asked ChatGPT, and this is what it said, and it's important you listen to this because we'll watch a video that will bring it all together. I just said, how much has Nancy Pelosi made from investing? ChatGPT-4 said this. In 2024, Nancy and her husband Paul earned between an estimated this is in 2024, 1 year. She earns 200 grand as her job, she's not even a speaker anymore, is she? As a politician, right? But in 2024, between her and her husband, they took an estimated $7.8 million with a potential ceiling, because you can only estimate, of $42 million. I mean, even if it's the lowest estimate, 7.5 mil through investing. Now, trust me, that's higher than the S&P. That's higher than most hedge funds. It's like she's what. This isn't hyperbole, people. Nancy Pelosi is one of the most successful investors history has ever known. This also isn't hyperbole. She makes more money than Warren Buffett, who is considered the investing genius, because she's got information that the rest of us lumpen proletariat haven't got. It gets worse, if you can believe it. Their portfolio. Oh, here we go. Hang on. Right, so 7.8 million to 42.5 million through stock trades, growing their net worth to 413 million. I mean, Paul Pelosi is just a pisshead. Do you remember all that time when he got caught with that brass and all that lark? How he's made over 400 million trading. It's almost as if his missus has just said to him, just said
Paul's
to him,
coming around later.
Yeah, I did see it. Their portfolio delivered an eye-watering 54% return in 24, outperforming most of the top hedge funds and doubling the S&P. Right, hang on, blah, 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 blah. Over the past decade, returns are estimated at 700% though some estimate closer to 175% after adjusting for content. It's just insanity. The you know, you've only got to draw a very simple line from A to B to C to understand how she is some kind of investing genius. Right. Now, if you don't know Clinton Jaws, his channel's blown up over the last year. Very funny Canadian bloke. Got quite a weird way of doing his videos. He does it like me. He'll have the video of him in the bottom corner, but he rarely pauses it. He just makes little quips. He does pause it, but he just sort of talks over it, a bit like Asmongold. But check this out. Jake Tapper on CNN, who is a twit, let's be honest. But he holds her to this, and it's actually excellent. So we're going to watch a bit of Clinton Jaws. And if you enjoy it, subscribe to him, because he puts out content nearly every day, and it frequently amuses me. So this is Nancy Pelosi on Clinton Jaws. It does get a bit confusing though, because he drops in a little bit of comedy from Tucker Carlson, but that's also brilliant. So sit back and absolutely enjoy this, because this is a few minutes of fun. Hang on. It tickled me. I had to watch it a couple of times.
Afternoon, President Trump mentioned you, and he made an allegation about your investments. I want to roll that clip and then give you a chance to respond.
Yeah. Why do you have to read that? We're here to talk about the 60th anniversary of Medicaid. That's what I agreed to come to talk about.
But
yeah, she doesn't want to talk about what Trump said about her investing. Look at her head. In the world of micro expressions, hello, Fitzy Kazza, good to see you. In the world of micro expressions, a micro expression is anything between like about a sixth and a quarter of a second, right? And I'm not the only person in that world to have said this, but Nancy Pelosi is like one long like snowball effect of micro expressions. Her face is just continually giving the game away. One. You know, she just hasn't. Then you've got all the fucking fillers and Botox to confuse the issue even more. It's like her face is continually arguing with what she's saying, because, you know, the movements of your face are largely unconscious, and so they're giving out the truth. And when you're Nancy Pelosi, you're not speaking a lot of truth. So there's a continual debate going on between her expression and what she's saying. So I'll roll VT, because this just keeps getting better. I'll take it back a little bit.
60th anniversary of Medicaid. That's what I agreed to come to talk about.
But I wanted
what that means in the election.
I wanted to give you a chance just to respond. He accused you of insider trading. What's your response to that?
Clinton Jaws. It's 300 degrees in this motorhome because I just shut off the air conditioning. Because it blows too loud. And I got to do a video. We're going to a music festival tomorrow. Looking forward to it. Camping. Going to make some videos. Michael Jackson was talking to Jake Tapper today.
So this is the fella Clinton Jaws. Definitely worth checking out. So did you hear what he said then? Jake Tapper was talking to Michael Jackson, and then that's explained through this Tucker Carlson clip. Now,
have you seen this? Jake asks her the most awkward question. I'm like, dude, you're going there? Yes, go there. Thank you. And I call her Michael Jackson because the funniest thing I've ever seen, well, okay, it's in my top 10. Tucker Carlson. Remember this?
So yesterday was Sunday. You may have found yourself on the couch, idly flipping around the TV dial. And if you flipped far enough, you could have had the shock of your life. Michael Jackson was on Face the Nation.
I remember watching this.
Now, to be clear, this wasn't video of Michael Jackson performing his hit songs in the 1990s. This appeared to be a living version of the international pop star that news reports claim died of a drug OD more than a dozen years ago. And yet, despite those claims, there he was, fully, undeniably Michael Jackson talking on television. How can that be? Honestly, we have no idea. We're not theologians here. This is merely a news program. We can only show you what we saw. Here it is.
There's nothing more important for us to do than protect our Constitution and our democracy. What the Republicans are doing across the country is really a legislative continuation of what they did on January 6th.
See? Michael Jackson. That was him. No Billie Jean. Apparently he's given.
Can we just have a little look at her eyebrows, though? I mean, she wakes up in the morning. Well, she probably, you know, gets out of her coffin. And look at them. And here's something interesting. When anyone raises their eyebrows, let me just see if this works. Yeah. So if I'm talking to you and I say something like, and that's why you'll never win. And I raise my eyebrows, see my forehead's all wrinkled there. My eyebrows don't go up a lot, but they go down further. But if I go, and that's why you'll never win. That is an appeal to be accepted. It's not me saying, it's like saying, and that's why they'll never win. Do you accept that? Or more like, will you accept that? You know, children do it, but look out for it in conversation, because when people finish a sentence like that, it's like a modifier that it taps into your unconscious and says to you, oh, this is obvious. This is obvious. You know, look, this is obvious, isn't it? And when you watch people debating on telly and they do that, that's the effect that has. Now, whether it was through choice or not, Pelosi is fixed in that place. Her eyebrows are continually appealing for acceptance, which again, for me, links up with this whole idea that she's continually bullshitting. How do I get this back? That'll do. Roll VT. I mean, but look at her. What the fuck? How could you do that and then look in the mirror and go, I mean, look, I know we all get old, and I think it's particularly difficult for women. I mean, women have their strengths when they're younger. And I think, well, anyway, I'm making a video about all that, so I won't give the game away now. But good Lord, looking in the mirror and thinking, yeah, that'll do. And, you know, most of it's makeup as well. I doubt there's any hair left there. She's chosen to make those decisions.
January 6th.
See? Michael Jackson. That was him. No Billie Jean. Apparently he's given up singing. Now he's telling lies about politics. Same man. If you've ever seen Michael Jackson, you cannot forget the face.
Fair play to Tucker for actually going through with this.
So admittedly, he's had a lot of work done since we saw him last.
Oh, I love that. And you should too. I'm going to show you what Trump had to say about Nancy Pelosi. Then I'm going to show you what Nancy Pelosi had to say about it. It's priceless. You remember all the insider trading that Nancy was doing? It was so obvious. Even Joe Rogan and Tulsi Gabbard were talking about it.
I'm sure you're aware of the Nancy Pelosi stuff.
Absolutely.
It's wild.
It is. And look, I think this is one of the good things about social media is, of course, the mainstream corporate media is hardly covering it at all. But because of social media, things like that are spreading like wildfire, like, hey, Paul Pelosi is doing these trades within this period of time of Nancy Pelosi voting on this bill or bringing a bill to the floor, because we've got to remember, Nancy Pelosi as Speaker of the House, nothing happens without her knowing about it or giving her stamp of approval. Once again, she's refusing to bring the bill to the floor for a vote, saying, oh, well, you know, we're not going to bring it to the floor if it doesn't have support.
So, yeah, there's this vote going through where they're going to say that government workers can only invest in index and exchange traded funds. Plastic African asked me, well, didn't ask me, but said, is she still in government? Yeah, I think she's Congresswoman for I think the 11th, what do they call them, in California. But yeah, she's still a Congresswoman. I don't know. It's in California, and it's the 11th. I don't know what they call it. I can't remember off the top of my head. But yeah, she's still part of the Democrat Party, and she's taking the absolute piss with investing. This is absolutely madness. District. Yeah, no, there's another word for it. Hang on, let's find out, shall we? Get this sorted quickly. Right, here we go. Nancy Pelosi is currently serving in the US House of Representatives as a representative for California's 11th congressional district, which covers most of San Francisco. There you go, Packer. That she has held since 1987. And if you know anything about San Francisco, it is literally a shithole. It is apparently it's just there's more human shit on the street in San Francisco than anywhere before. I got a mate, well, you all know him actually, but I won't mention his name, and he lives in America, and he said he saw a syringe and human shit hedgehog in San Francisco. So if you can imagine like a human turd with like about 31 mil syringes poked in it. I mean, Jesus, wake up, step out your room. Yeah, something's gone wrong in society. Anyway, there's a bit more here.
Put people on the freaking.
Can you still hear it? Let me know, Packer.
Spot.
Yeah.
Make them cast that vote.
That is the last thing she wants.
Right before the election.
That honey pot. How much money have you made?
Yeah.
Like, why are you worth $200 million? That's crazy. You make $200,000 a year. You're worth $200 million. Like, what's going on? And you look at like Paul Pelosi's stock, like what his record is. He's better than Warren Buffett and George Soros, who are like wizards.
Yeah, exactly.
Those guys are the best.
And that isn't a joke. The Pelosi's are some of the most successful traders in the world. And that is only because they've got insider information. And listen, people, it's not like it's not like the Americans have to bring in new laws. There's already laws. Insider trading is illegal. And I'll tell you what, there's been plenty of normal folk who've gone to prison for it and had to pay all that money back. But Nancy Pelosi, we all know, clear as day, has been an insider trader for like 30 years and made 700 mil off the back of it. Nah, she just cracks on. It's fine. Weatherman, hello mate, good to see you. You should see the local public toilets. and I live in Bath. No, I don't want to. I don't want to. There's a thing in England where to try and stop people using drugs in public toilets, they put UV lights in them. I don't know if you've ever been in a public toilet and noticed that the lighting was UV, which is fucking awful for everyone else. Well, the idea is you can't see the vein. You can't see veins under a UV light. Now, if losing your family, your job, your house, your leg, your fingers, all your friends and all your family didn't stop you shooting heroin, I'm not sure an ultraviolet light is going to have much effect. It's just ridiculous. But, you know, it's more public money into private pockets, so crack on. Someone done well with it. Oh, no way. Hello, experimental elemental. Are you new in these parts? They've put the UV... Yeah, I haven't been to Glastonbury for years because all that hippie stuff, well, it stopped even being hippie stuff. But the Glastonbury toilets are the worst in the world. And you look down in that little hole, it's like, it's just syringes and shit. It's absolutely hideous. Ugly truth says vein spotting. Fair play, fair play. Anyway, there's a little bit more of this I want you to see.
He's better than them.
And then Trump said this today.
Thank you, Mr. President. Senator Hawley introduced legislation that would ban members of Congress from owning or trading individual stocks. It extends to the president and the vice president. Are you in favor of that legislation?
Well, I like it conceptually. I don't know about it, but I like it conceptually. And, you know, Nancy Pelosi became rich by having inside information. She made a fortune with her husband, and I think that's disgraceful. So in that sense, I'd like it, but I'd have to really see I study these things very carefully, and this just happened. So I'll take a look at it. But conceptually, I like it. And
that's fantastic. What an incredible comment from the president. He doesn't know it inside out, so he's not just saying yes, but he likes the idea of it. But he then has said as well, Nancy Pelosi has made millions off of it. He said it. He's accused her. Now, if he was wrong, she could sue him for defamation. She could sue him for not libel. What's the other one? Libel's written, isn't it? What is it when you say it? Begins with S. Someone in the chat will know. Lartus and Pags are in I think at the moment. What is it? Slander. Think you fat. Yeah. And she would absolutely take him to court and said it on national TV. He said that me and my husband have made millions from insider trading, but she can't because she knows that it would be guilty. What an absolute joke. Everyone knows it. And she just keeps buying those eyebrow pencils. It's shocking, really. Right, where are we going to go? Where are we going to go next?
I will just say that he will have to be careful, because if he starts doing things like that, he's got to look at how many Republicans that's going to take out.
Hello, Vincent. Well, I'm not sure. I saw John Kennedy talking about it, and they were sort of saying they were sort of. I think most of the Republicans are actually up for it. You know, they should be able to invest in index funds because insider trading doesn't really help you with that. But there's weird issues with it, such as it's just not fully. It hasn't been thought through. But you know, come on, government officials should not be able to trade stocks. They're in a position where they've got information that the rest of us haven't. It's not fair. They work for us. They don't make millions off of our backs. Well, they do, but ridiculous. Hello, James. How are you, son? Good to see you. Right. This is really interesting. There was this fund during the coup, where what's her name? Ilhan Omar, whatever her name is.
Yeah.
You know, what do they call them? The 4 horsewomen of the apocalypse or something. The squad, the team, the Pratts, the foreigners. Yeah. I don't know.
Squad.
She's at the center of this absolute. What would you call it? Scandal, like one of the biggest scandals in like recent American history, and 71 people are already looking at going to jail for this scam. It was a feed the kids scam. Oh, during the coup, there's loads of kids who can't eat. Can you donate some money? $250 million was raised out of normal people's pockets, people thinking those poor kids. Now the restaurant that it was based around, who were doing all the sort of logistics and getting this food made and dished out, they had the boss of that in court, and they were like, well, where's the money gone? And he said, well, you know, we spent it on food and all that sort of stuff. He can't provide any receipts, and it's I didn't watch the video in full, but it's something like, apparently they spent about 250 quid a week out of $250 million in donations. And it all traces back to this Ilhan Omar. We'll watch it now. It's mad as a box of frogs, Steve Turley. Nice one, Hans. Appreciated. The better I can get this novel cover, the better chance I've got of getting some sold, and my dream of making a living from being a writer will come true. I'm not overplaying that. And if you've been watching my channel for the 12 long years I've been telling the same stories now, you'll know that that's my dream. I might even have to employ some scrubs. I'm going to get thank you, Hans. I appreciate you invested in me. I might look for some people for some employment. I'm going to need some stickers put up. This is stuff I'd have done. This is stuff I've done for my first novel. and it was stocked in Waterstones and Borders all up and down the country, and done 9,000 copies, which is amazing for a vanity project first novel. But the problem is me flying over there. I haven't got an house there. My mother's dead now. The flight and the hotel is likely going to cost me more than I'll make selling the book. So, but I do want to do some guerrilla marketing. So if any scrubs are up for doing some sticker campaigns for me, and they've got a couple of other things I'm keeping under my hat for now. I can't pay you a lot, but I can pay you something. And it will simply be things like putting stickers up. But there'll be a couple of other things that I'll pay a little bit more for. Nothing illegal, though, nothing dodgy. I wouldn't want you to get in any trouble. But
first off, Chris, you never come to England and don't have somewhere to stay, you Burke.
That's very kind of you, but
well, I'm not speaking just for me. It's like, I know that you could come to England and go and put stickers wherever you wanted and not have to pay anything.
I'm not very good company in people's houses.
I know, but we're just saying, carry on.
I'm a very quiet and shy person, and people just want me to talk, and I'm like, can I go to bed? Can I just read a book or something? But that's a lovely point you make there, and I should think about that. But nonetheless, because the airlines are still trying to make up for the coup, for me, even to get an economy flight to the UK is going to be about $2,000.
Yeah, I'm not buying your ticket.
No. No. But if I was there, I'd be guerrilla marketing the fuck out of this book, and it would be silly. I mean, I've got some internet plans to do, but there's nothing like filling Soho and Covent Garden with subliminal advertising. Anyway, I know how to market stuff, but because I want to get the book in the shops before November, I've got to get busy. Rapid file. Anyway, let's have a look. It's Mad as a Box of Frogs, Steve Turley. I will just check the other donations. I don't want anyone to miss out. Whoa, I didn't expect that to happen. No, sweet fuck all. Right. So check this out. Mad as Box of Frogs, Dr. Steve Turley. I love him. Look at how these bastards take the goodwill of good American people and pocketed $250 million, 250 mil. It's insanity.
Thanks for joining us at 4. I'm Rena Sargentopoulos. We're following some breaking news right now. In the last hour, a jury has found the ringleaders of the largest pandemic aid scam in the country guilty on all charges.
What happens when a massive 250...
So you heard that. They've all been found guilty. There's 71 of them guilty.
$1 million fraud scheme gets exposed, and it leads straight back to Ilhan Omar's inner circle. You won't believe how deep this rabbit hole goes. And now 71 people are behind bars. Gang, we are witnessing one of the most explosive political scandals of 2025. And the legacy media is desperately trying to cover it all up. But we're going to break down.
See, that's the other thing. This is a huge scandal. Is it on? Have you heard of it anywhere else? Maybe you have. Let me know in the chat. But I had to go to Steve Turley for it. You'd have thought this would have been major news. Hey, American people who donated $250 million, that was all stolen.
On exactly what happened, who's involved, and why Congresswoman Ilhan Omar looks like she is in some serious hot water. You are not going to want to miss this. Over 70 people have now been arrested in what prosecutors are calling the single largest pandemic fraud case in U.S. history. Now, we're talking about $250 million that was supposed to feed hungry children during COVID, but
Hang on a minute. Stop everything. Buy me a coffee isn't working. What? Hang on. Just stop everything. Maybe I put the wrong link up. That's what I think I've done. Let me see if I can put the link up. Edit the link. Hang on, people. Sorry. But if there's one thing I can't do at the moment is miss out on people wanting to help me out a bit. View your channel. But isn't that mad? $250 million. That's no small amount of money. This will take me a couple of seconds though. Buy me a coffee. I'm going to remove that. Right? And then I'll put it in here. Whoa. Buy me a coffee. And then there's the link for that. And then I'll put the entropy donations on there as well. Where's my entropy gone? There. Bosh. And I'll put that in the chat. And that doesn't seem to have come up. Maybe I need to play it. Where's that gone? Even John Palmer said it as well.
Monty bets that she leaves America. I bet she gets away with it.
Sorry about the weird echo. Oh, here we go. Right, there you go, people. I've just replaced the entropy and the buy me a coffee links. They should be working now. Sorry about that. What are you saying, Packer? Thank you, AAA, for pointing that out, and thank you, JP, for pointing that out. Much.
Yeah, I'll just read some chat. Monty said she'll leave America. She'll do a runner at some point.
What, you reckon Ilhan Omar will just do the off?
Yeah.
There you go. Days being framed and thing. No, it's really appreciated. Well, yeah, we'll carry on with this, though. I think I'll probably have to do this or we won't get the sound. Apologies about that short break. If you are new here, because I've got a load of new subscribers from the Gary Stevenson videos. If you are here, you obviously agreed with me, because the people who didn't agree with me, they really didn't like me. So it's nice to have you. We do a couple of these streams a week, sometimes more, sometimes less.
Instead, line the pockets of fraudsters. The scheme was run through an organization called Feeding Our Future, and at the center of it all was a Minneapolis restaurant named Safari. Now, here's where it gets interesting. Guess who was caught on camera promoting this very same restaurant? That's
no, before we get there, though, look, contemporary Somali cuisine. Why is it every time? Why, why?
On camera promoting this very same restaurant. That's right. None other than Ilhan Omar herself. In June 2021, there's actual video of Omar at Safari restaurant supposedly helping to distribute meals to children.
That's her there. That's her working in this scam where they paid about Pag said slop on a plate. Well, he says the geezer says in court that I think it was $250. It might be $2,500, but it certainly weren't 250 million. That's $250 million they stolen. It's absolutely disgusting.
Children, but here's the kicker: prosecutors now say Safari Restaurant was claiming to serve 5,000 meals a day, 7 days a week, while spending barely $2,000 on actual food.
There you go. Hang on, I thought it was a week 2,000. He said no. Did I get that right? They only spent 2,000 in total. Is he saying?
Barely $2,000.
Hang on, that can't be.
Now say Safari Restaurant was claiming to serve 5,000 meals a day, 7 days a week, while spending barely $2,000 on actual food.
Wow.
Now, Omar's office claims she had no involvement and this is all just, political desperation, blah, blah, blah. But let's take a
It's insane. $250 million, and they actually spent 2 bags of sand. How can you live with yourself? You're taking money off hard-working people and just nicking it. And not only that, you got to take into account if you're like a charity like this, and you've raised and you've shown, because you have to if you're a charity, that you've raised $250 million. Well, that's going to stop other charities donating to that particular relief. Feeding children. Maybe their parents died at a coup or whatever it is. Who knows what the blag was? But it will, it'll be like, well, they've got $250 million. We can target our resources elsewhere. And they, this might sound like a weird tangent, but you'll see what I mean. When I was growing up, and there'd always be these horror stories on telly about murderers. There was one I remember in about 84, and he was called The Fox. And this bloke was breaking into houses when people were in, and like raping and murdering people while they were in their homes. And I was terrified as a kid. You don't realize how big the world is, and you think, fucking hell, I'm gonna lock my bedroom window tonight and sweat it out, sort of thing. But when I found out about people like the Moors murderers or other people who'd worked in pairs, at what point do you breach that conversation? You're a young couple, you get together, and at some point one of you says, how about we kidnap kids and drive them up the moors and torture them and record it? Do you fancy a bit of that this weekend? How do you actually get to that point? Now, the reason that's relevant to this is the people involved must have known that. The people involved must have sat in rooms knowing full well they were taking money off of honest, hard-working people that was meant to be going to feed children, and they would have had to have gone through logistics. Right, how are we going to launder it? How are we going to make it look? Well, they obviously didn't do a very good job because they've all been charged, but they must have sat around and debated how they're going to do this scam. And they looked each other in the faces, and I'll tell you how they managed to do it, because it's not a high trust society, and they're a different tribe to the majority. And I know that might sound, I know that's risking my channel, but it's because they don't care, because it's not part of their world. As far as they're concerned, they're taking money off of a different tribe and redistributing it among their tribe. And we know from their political commentary that they believe they built America. And, the whole reparations thing, I wouldn't be surprised, and this is just conjecture, but I wouldn't be surprised if they didn't justify it on the back of something like this, on the back of something like that. Well, this is essentially, this is our money anyway. We're not doing anything wrong. We built this country, so we're just getting a bit of that money back. I mean, I've done some pretty naughty things in my life, but that is next level. And how you can live with yourself. No, I'm with you, Wolfie. Not all, hashtag not all, obviously, but a fair amount for sure. Vincent has been on the firm for 31 months. Much appreciated, Vincent. I'm surprised we haven't seen you in one of the Discord chats, but they tend to be during the day. Maybe you're out working, but thank you very much. Appreciated. Yeah, let's carry on with a bit of Dr. Turley.
Look at the facts, shall we? First, Omar's campaign received $5,400 from 2 individuals who were later implicated in the fraud investigation. And when this came to light, her campaign quietly donated that money to local food shelves. But wait, it gets worse. Omar was actually the sponsor. Let that hit you. She was actually the sponsor of the Meals Act of 2020, which expanded federal food aid during the pandemic. This was the very legislation creating the opportunities that fraudsters exploited to steal hundreds of millions of dollars. Now let's talk about this Safari restaurant for a moment. This place claimed to be serving 3.9.
Hello, Spanish chicken. I'll take this back a bit because this is the last bit I want to show you of this.
This place claimed to be serving 3.9 million meals to children over 19 months. They were pulling in $16 million in federal funds. But when investigators looked at their bank records, they found that the restaurant spent almost nothing on actual food. The owner, Salim.
Yeah, this is where it gets amazing. Did you hear that? Almost nothing on food. And I'll take it back a bit just so that you've got the context. You know, if you were going to do this blag properly, just get a load of receipts faked. Yeah, we bought this from here, we bought this from here. You'd go around loads of restaurants and you'll say, look, here, there's a drink in it for you. Give us a receipt for $5,000 and I'll give you $10,000. You know, easy. They didn't even bother doing that because they thought they could probably play the race card or something like that. But listen to what the bloke, the sort of ringleader of the restaurant says in court. It's ridiculous.
Spent almost nothing on actual food. The owner, Salim Saeed, admitted in court that not only did he make millions of dollars in profit, but when prosecutors asked him to prove that he had bought food from major suppliers like Cisco, he couldn't provide any evidence. This guy was literally running a fake feeding program. And here's the most outrageous part.
He had nothing. He just went, you know, have you got receipts to what you spent the money? And he must have been standing in that court and went, no, I haven't.
When the Minnesota Department of Education tried to investigate, Feeding Our Future accused them of discrimination. And
what did I say? I called it. I haven't seen past this point, but that is probably what they thought. That. There you go, discrimination. I wonder what kind of discrimination it will be.
Filed a lawsuit claiming their scrutiny violated civil rights laws.
The old Civil Rights Act, which Jesse Peterson will tell you has done more damage to African Americans than pretty much anything else.
They played the race card. They freaking played the.
When I said that, I was half joking, but they fucking did. And I bet they thought that was rock solid as well.
Race card as a human shield to hide their corruption behind. But the Omar scandal doesn't stop there. It gets even better.
We will stand bravely, dream boldly, and know.
Well, there you go. That's enough of that one. I mean, I would love it. This Ilhan Omar, she seems to be getting away with so much. Didn't she marry her brother to get him in the country, and that sort of disappeared and brushed under some weird carpet? Willow reckons the race card will expire eventually.
Allegedly, Chris. Allegedly, she married Chris. Yeah. Or in Minecraft or something.
Yeah, there you go. It is all so predictable. $250 million. Well, hopefully they'll enjoy spending that on a couple of Raymonds in prison. And I hope, and I'll tell you what, this is a weird thing. I know we all complain about how low sentences are. How low sentences are in prisons. But one thing the UK I know for a fact is when it comes to financial fraud, it's usually pretty good, because that's the one the government really doesn't want to encourage. They don't really care about the brutal attacks on people and all that stuff. But when it comes to nicking their taxes and their money, no, you'll get made an example of. They'll get 5-10 years for this, and it'll be beautiful. And they won't get to keep any of the money. I mean, they'll no doubt have already sent most of it back to Somalia or whatever, but that'll be tracked down. Well, you'd hope so, at least, anyway. Right. I haven't actually watched this one. I watched about a minute of it and thought this looks like it could be some quality content. It's called Illegal Immigrant Shoplifter Sisters Can't Believe They're Getting Deported. Now, the only bit I saw was the two of them in the back of an old bill car. There's a copper sitting in the front, and you know that because you can hear him talking. And it's suddenly dawning on them that they're in a bit of trouble. And they're nicking a few bits of steak, and that is going to get them sent home. I also want to say to AAA, Jed pointed out that I confused the two of you a few weeks back. And so apologies, AAA. That was my mistake. I'm just going to give this a refresh. It can sometimes take a while. Oh, here we go. Lovely. Someone has donated a future, and JP has donated 3 futures on the old Buy Me a Coffee. You have just contributed to my dream of earning a living from being a writer. You will get your moment of glory right now, and that means the world to me. It really, really does mean the world to me, because a professional cover illustrator, designer, is about $2,000. You can get one for 500 quid, but you know, I want this book to fucking sell, and so that's why I'm raising money. So this, where is it? There you go. Thank you very much. I don't know who that someone is. They might be wanting to stay anonymous. He says, have a cocoa mochaccini on me. And JP bought 3. You sound like you need a black. I'm trying to be quiet because my missus is now sleeping in a separate room because she reckons I'm too noisy. But that's because I've been up all night for the last 7 weeks writing this damn novel. But that's the life of a writer. But thank you, someone, and thank you, JP. That's really appreciated. If whoever that someone isn't trying to be anonymous, let me know in the chat, and I'll obviously be able to thank you. Jock would do it for me, John. He would, because he's a lovely bloke, and he used to do all my Edinburgh Fringe things. But I just think it's the wrong. It's not, you know. It would be a great illustration, but I think it's the, you know. Here's the sad truth, right? I love this novel. I think it's excellent, and I would have a really flashy cover, like maybe all black, with the lettering in right and a tiny little white logo, like symbol, but they don't sell. You have to have crappy. This is what you have to do. You have to go to Amazon bestsellers, go to your genre, refine that genre even more. So I'd go to literary fiction, memoirs, you know, keep refining it, and then have a look at all the bestsellers. What colors are they using? What's the type? What font are they using? Is there a figure on the cover? You know, and all these things. And that's what a professional will do for me. They'll find out what books in my genre are bestsellers, and they'll do a cover like that. And I will probably absolutely hate it because it will look like a commercial novel, which it is. But it's a bit of a shame. But if it sells really well, 6 months down the line, I could do a limited edition with a cover of my choice and my design. There will be some hardbacks available as well, but they're so fucking expensive. I wouldn't buy one. Also, when I do come to England at some point, we'll have a massive Scrubs meet-up, and if you do buy a novel, obviously, bring it along and I'll obviously sign it and put a nice little message in it for you. But thank you, someone, and thank you, John Palmer. Really appreciated. I'll just give Entropy a pop. Okay, let's have a look at these illegal immigrants sitting in the back of this old bill car, because this looks funny. If it fails to be amusing, I'll just drop it out. But what I saw of it looked amazing. Otto says, I said that 10 years ago. Well, see, consistency. I'm still saying it. So I wasn't lying, was I? Here we go.
Oiga, pero dígame la verdad, que a nosotros no nos dan así como para pagar plata, cash.
Now, if this is going to work, can you actually see the subtitles, people?
I can.
I wonder if the YouTube ones are any better.
¿Deportar?
Oh,
¿Un hall de migración?
Let me know in the chat if you can see the subtitles, or this is going to be. Otto just said the chin on it. Nice one, Dottie. Nice one, Jess. Right, here we go. So let's take, now you can see them without me talking over it. We'll run it from the top. I'll get me and Packer's face off the screen so that the subtitles are a bit bigger. Here we go. But so they got caught shoplifting. Imagine the reality of this kicking home.
Oiga, pero dígame la verdad, que a los otros no nos dan así como para pagar plata, cash.
La verdad, ustedes se van a ir para atrás a Argentina.
¿Deportar?
Te están poniendo un container.
¿Un hall de migración? Pero a usted ahora lo lleva a migración.
I just need to say, one of the most beautiful things in my life as a young man was when they brought in seatbelts as compulsory. I realised what a beautiful thing it was, because it certainly draws attention to a rack. I mean, look at our left, the deportee on the right there. I mean, she's no Kathy Lloyd, but good Lord. Anyway, roll VT.
¿Los lleva a migración a los otros?
So picture this. Body cam footage shows two illegal migrants stuffing brand new clothes into the back of a car. Moments later, click.
She stuffed some new clothes down the front of her bra by the look of things. Boom.
Handcuffs. And while she's sitting in the back of a cop car, one sister cries, "You can't deport me. I have a son here." What happens next will blow your mind.
That whole anchor baby, that was never policy put in for what it's been abused for decades. Get over the border, get pregnant, and you're there then because you've got an American kid. That kid is then American. That should be just taken off the books tomorrow. It's ridiculous.
Fine.
Right, so here we go. Turley reckons this next bit's going to blow our minds.
What happens next will blow your mind. Stay tuned, because this single arrest exposes how Americans have had it and are finally fighting back. June 25th, deputies raced to a Burlington store in Port Charlotte, Florida. Security cameras caught Carla Arenado and Janesse Reyes, both illegal migrants, loading a cart of loot into their California-plated SUV.
By the way, I'm sure I'm not the only person who's seen this happening in England now. There's certain towns in England where if you don't nick more than £200 worth of stuff, you don't even go to court. And there's been a sudden influx of videos of people, they don't look as English as they used to, loading up trolleys with £199 worth of stuff and just walking out. That's it. What the fuck? I mean, really? When I was a kid, if you got caught nicking a fucking bar of chocolate, you got a smack round the head and kicked out the shop. These days, nah, just take it, come back later, get some more.
Inside the vehicle, police found over $400 of Burlington goods, $2,700 of goods stolen from Marshalls, over $3,100 of goods stolen from Ross, plus tools for popping security tags. Their total take.
So they've done a whole day, and their whole day's takings was
just over $6,200.
Wow, nearly $6,500 worth of thieving in one day. And how many other people are doing that? Hello, Glass. Did you have a look in the very special one in there today? It took me a lot of time to work that out.
The Charlotte split that in two, though, didn't they? That's £6,000.
Yeah, Yeah,
No?
and I bet they're doing this every day as well. That's the thing. And, there's people out there grafting for a living, proper grafting, all day long, 6 days a week. And they have got nowhere near that kind of money coming in. So if you're grafting 6.5 grand's worth of stuff, you're selling that for probably just under half price. Let's say 2 grand. Let's say they're selling that on for 2 grand, and they're doing it 5 days a week. 10 grand tax-free a week. And most of that gets sent home. I've been looking into this after looking at those Gary's videos. I can't remember. I think it's called remittances. It's where immigrants send money home to their families. In England alone, it's something like £12 billion a year is sent home. Now, you might not think that's a bad thing, and I can understand why people do it. They're working over here, or they're thieving, or they're involved in crime. It doesn't really matter how the money is collected, and they're sending it back home where their families are to build houses or whatever. But you've got to look at it like this. That's £12 billion that's leaving the UK economy every year. And that's just the remittances they know about. I reckon you can probably triple that. Just come to our country, take a load of money and send it to your country. How the hell is an economy meant to survive that?
Feston admitted hitting stores statewide from Jacksonville to Miami just days before. After they were arrested and as they were being transported, they found out that the county jail was just a temporary stop to where they were ultimately going.
I mean, did you see her smiling and all that? Because she probably thought, come on, we're immigrants, we're a protected class, this will be all right. They won't dare risk doing anything wrong with us. And it's just all so predictable. And how has it got to this? Like all those videos I see of people just leaving shops with like trolleys full of stuff, and the security guards can't do anything. If the security guards touch them, the security guards get done. They get arrested. And it's happening in England now. Yo, Loki's on the firm. Hello, mate. Good to see you. I mean, it's just absurd. If you're stealing from a shop, you should be getting arrested for theft. Listen to how ridiculous it is that I have to say that. If you're caught thieving, you've broken the law. You should be getting arrested, charged, and punished. But no, that doesn't happen anymore. And I'll tell you what's happened in America in loads of places. They're shutting their shops down. Places like Walmart and Target, they're just closing down. And then that place, which is already a ghetto, then they start complaining, oh, why is there no investment in our area? Why have we got no shops in our area? Because you fucking robbed them blind. And then they go, yeah, it's because we're black. You're not putting any money into our area. It's because we're Latino. No, it's because you didn't spend any money. You just took it all. You expect Walmart just to open its doors to your free shopping sprees? How did it get so damn ridiculous? What do they call it? What there's a word for it, isn't there? There's a phrase. There's a phrase, something. Someone will know it. It's where you're just being so overly generous and it works against you. Come on, someone in the chat must know what I'm talking about. Oh, it's something like that. Yeah, it's something like that. Suicidal empathy, something like that. But that fits it. So it might as well just be that. Pag says it's taking the piss. Yeah, that also works as well. Yeah, that's it. Suicidal altruism or pathological altruism. Hello, Loafer Sheffield. You new in these parts? That's it. We got there in the end. Pathological altruism. And it is part of what's wrecking the West. Shocking.
¿Deportar? ¿Un hall de migración? Pero a usted ahora lo lleva a migración. ¿Lo lleva a migración a los otros?
No, inmigración va a venir para usted.
¿Cuándo?
But then one of them tried to pull the anchor baby card.
Ya, pero mire, yo tengo hijos aquí, po.
Yeah, we can
Cuando
go with
tenés
you.
hijos, ¿te deportan igual?
Yo no trabajo por inmigración, no estoy seguro cómo ellos trabajan, pero yo sé cuando ellos se meten en el negocio.
I mean, that one on the left, smug face, because she thinks she's got this absolutely sorted. No, I've got a kid. You can't throw me out. Yeah, I think things have changed since the bloke that convinced you to do this was making the rules.
Nosotros, ellos sacan a la gente normalmente rápido.
Bye.
No demoran mucho.
Y a los otros los pusieron hold de migración ya.
Ya, sí.
¿Y por qué tan rápido?
Porque el tiempo que estamos hablando, estamos tratando de verificarte.
Why so fast? She's literally saying, hang on a minute, this is all going too fast, because what I was hoping to do was just run away and go to another state. Why is it happening so fast? What a weird question. Hang on a minute, why are you being so efficient? Why are you all being so efficient? Well, that's what she's saying, basically. She's shocked that the law is being imposed. This can't be right. This isn't how it works.
Percepción de ustedes y parece que ellos quieren poner un detainer para ustedes, no sé por qué. Explicarte por qué te están sacando del país.
Ya, pero yo tengo un hijo, tengo familia aquí, tengo hijos, no pueden deportarme, po.
No sé si
Yeah, they'll go with you.
la familia, pero
Y mi hijo, yo no puedo ser deportada porque mi hijo.
Look at the
¿Cómo no puedo
entitlement.
hacerlo si yo quiero que mi hijo también lo deporten?
I can't be deported. You've broken the laws. You'll be surprised. Go on, get out.
tu hijo nació aquí, no
Sí, es americano.
no van a sacar un hijo.
How many times do you reckon she's described her kid as an American before? Never. When she's with her friends and family, he's 100% Argentinian. But, when she's having to hold on for dear life, suddenly he's an American. Look at the face of the one on the right. She realizes that things have changed since the new administration arrived. And they may well have been getting away with this for years, but it's time to go back to Buenos Aires, love.
¿Y cómo yo voy a dejar a mi hijo aquí?
Hello, Chrissy.
So there's a classic Democrat for you. I mean, this sense of entitlement.
Yep.
This sense that the law doesn't apply to me, or better, I get to pick which laws apply to me, and I'll always choose the ones that I get to exploit for my own benefit, right? This sister was so defiant originally, but she's a crook. In the end, she's a thief. She literally lives and breathes on breaking our laws. That's why they're deporting her.
And sending millions home every year.
But I'm shocked at the sense of entitlement she originally had. You can't deport me. I have a son. I've got the golden ticket. I've got an American baby. I mean, the days of the entitlement mentality here are officially over. They have come to an end. Now, why does this matter beyond one arrest? Well, it's because shoplifting is now being used as one of the primary means of automatic deportation.
Should happen in England as well. Absolutely excellent. Toffee, Leech and Kong is excellent, by the way. Yeah, I'm with you. It should be the same in the UK as well. You're here as a guest. If I broke the law out of here, they'd chuck me in their hellhole of a prison and I'd probably be dead within 2 weeks. And if they didn't do that, I'd be on a plane if I could afford it. If I couldn't, and I'll tell you what, you think you've seen some bad prisons, have a look on the internet at Cambodian prisons. Yeah, There's a geezer being interviewed. He was raped 5 times by the prison guards while he was in prison. And then when he finally he didn't even do anything. Someone spiked his drink, and then when he was on the ATM, like not knowing what he was doing on his fucking Rohypnol, they just arrested him. And I think he'd done about 6 years in the end. And it's the most hideous story you've ever heard. And when he finally gets out of prison, and they're driving him from the prison to the airport, the copper says to him, "Put your hand on the roof before you sit in the car, because we don't want you hitting your head as you get in." So he does it, and then the copper slams the door on his hand, like as a last sort of fuck you. And it broke all his fingers. When he got to the airport, everyone was like, "Well, hang on, you need to go to hospital." And they sort of stitched him all up and splintered him and all that. You know, there's a reason there's not a lot of crime goes down in places like Cambodia, because you suffer the consequences of what you're doing against the fabric of your society. Now, I'm not suggesting that sort of treatment should happen. There's another thing he said as well. He said, if you've got a few quid in the bank, you can buy yourself out of these prisons. He said, but the problem is what happens, and he says he knows this because he saw it, you get a few $1,000s together and you give it to the prison guards and they escort you out. And you think, sweet. And on the way out, you have to give all the guards a little tip as if to say thank you. These are guards that have raped you, abused you, kicked the shit out of you, made you sleep with your head down the toilet, all this. By toilet, I mean hole in the ground in your 40-man cell, where you have to pay to get a plot against the wall so you can lean on it. Because if you're in the middle, you can't do anything. There's nothing to lean on. And you're just there. It's like sardines in there. And when you're the new boy, you get the sardine next to the hole in the ground where 40 blokes are pissing and shitting on your head. Seriously, that's prison. That's where you go when you break the laws. Am I saying that's a good thing? No, but it does seem to have an effect on the amount of crime. You don't see a lot of these people out here pulling off all this kind of lark, that's for sure. Look at what El Salvador has done, one of the most dangerous places in the world. And it's now the safest place in the West, El Salvador. Because if you break the law, you go to that maximum security prison and you never get out. That's it. They don't fuck around with two years suspended, three weeks spent concurrently. No, you go in and you come out in a box. And that's why El Salvador is now the safest place in the West. Chrissy has been a member for 48 months. Nice one, Chrissy. Oh, by the way, while there's 111 of you here, I put a new Substack up. I haven't written a short on Substack for a couple of months because I've been writing this novel, but I put one up. Now, as I always say about my shorts, it's very odd, but stick with it. It will take you about 2.5 minutes to read, but do stick with it. Trust me on that. It won't go where you think it's going. I wrote it a few months back and I decided it's a bit too out there for Substack, but it isn't actually. Wait, let me tell you something really, really disappointing about Substack. Look, I know how the internet works. People like your YouTube channel, they watch it for a couple of months or a couple of years or even 5 years, but then they might have had enough and they move on. I don't take that personally. They've changed, I've changed, and that's fine. And it's the same with Substack. I've got like 38 shorts up there now. And any other Substack will probably tell you this, you know, if you've got over a few thousand subs. Every time I put up a new short, I get a few people unsubscribe. It's not usually the story that's done it. It's just a reminder to them that they haven't read any of my stories for a while and they might as well just click unsubscribe. And I try not to take it emotionally, but you put a story up, you check your emails, and it's like 4 people have unsubscribed, and it's like, thanks. This is why I always say, please leave a comment, please like it and leave a comment, because it just balances it out with people who are just like, no, I've had enough of you. Anyway, let's have a look at this immigration lark here. But yeah, please go and check out the new story. It's called The Beetle. You go to the homepage, you'll see it there.
It's being called the most common gateway crime for deportation. So under U.S. Code Section 8, a single conviction for a crime involving what's called moral turpitude, like shoplifting, automatically triggers removal, and for good reason. Before this crackdown, during the final years of the bleak Biden winter, national shoplifting surged 24.
The bleak Biden winter is brilliant.
percent in 2024 alone. Retailers lost $45 billion last year. The National Retail Federation reported a 93%.
A minute, I've just got Brad. Brad is our A guy on the firm. Oh, that's brilliant. This is why you need to check out Brad's Substack, people. Go and show him some love over there. He's putting out a load of content. That's anyway. Yeah, JP appreciated that as well.
Spike in annual shoplifting incidents since 2019. Now enter Governor Ron DeSantis. So this year,
we've had enough of that. We've had the exciting bit. No, I'm with you. Latus. If you're an immigrant and you break the law, you get sent home. If you don't get sent home, you go to a prison that punishes you. You don't. I watched an interview with Tommy Robinson the other week, and he was talking about his last stint in solitary. Now, whatever you think about Tommy Robinson, to be able to survive in solitary for that long, I think I'd go mad after a week. I mean, I like my own company, but not that much. And he said this, and this blew my mind. He said because they put him in a prison that had one of the highest Muslim populations of any of the prisons in the UK, which is most of them anyway. I think Muslims make up about 60% of UK English prisoners. But because they put him in one which had a very, very high number of, they called them Islamists rather than Muslims. They had to clear out all the cells on his landing, on his wing, right? Because he would just get killed. So they had to empty all the cells so that he could walk to get his 20 minutes walking in a circle in the yard on his own. 20 minutes. You know, he was locked up for 23 and a half hours a day on his own. Try it. Imagine doing that for 3 days. Anyway, he said when he was walking up the corridor to get his little bit of recreation in this little yard of his, he looked in the cells that were for the Islamists. They had kitchens in them. Now, anyone who's done a bit of bird in England will tell you the most you can do in your cell is cook Raymond's in your kettle. If you can get a kettle in your cell, which is considered a privilege. You know, you can make alcohol on the hot water pipe if you're lucky, using a slice of bread, a bit of Marmite, and some orange juice. I mean, I've made that outside of prison, and it ain't great. It gets you drunk, but that hangover, yeah. But he said they've got kitchens in there. He said it looked like a room from like one of those motorway hotels. And do you know why? He said it's because they have to appease them. Because if they make a demand that they don't get, the head sort of, what do they call him? What's the top dog in the Muslim community?
Imam.
Yeah, the person who's been allocated the role of imam in the prison is a shot caller. Well, essentially, if they say we want kitchens in our cells and they don't get them, one of the guards will get a sharpened toothbrush in their neck. And Tommy Robinson said he could not believe it. He said they look like hotel rooms. We're paying for that. Our taxes are paying for that. And again, how did things get to this state? Liberalism, Tony Blair, welfare, open borders, feminism, and alcohol. And I'm not joking. I'm not joking, by the way. They are the 6 horsemen of the apocalypse. Plastic African, hello, mate. You dropped a lady in. What's about a border, you know? Readings, what's about a border, you know? Readings for AI here, gone tomorrow. We don't stop playing because we get old. We grow old because we stop playing. Oh, I like the last bit. But you've lost me with the top bit. But it's lovely to see you. And thanks for the donation. If anyone can help me out, or if Plastic African, you want to help me out with that first bit, but that's gone over my head. That's the one, Nate. That's it. It was with Andrew Gold. Andrew Gold's actually smashing it at the moment, isn't he? Doing some great interviews. Who did I see him interview the other week? And he absolutely terrorized them. They didn't see that coming. Nate, can you think about it? Can you think about what he done recently where they tried to? I can't remember. Oh, speaking of which, Plastic. Thanks for that, mate. Oi, did anyone see Gad Sad, the Gadfather, on Piers Morgan? Well, you all must know how much Piers Morgan hates Tommy Robinson. I mean, at this state, it's pathological. You know, he just, despite he can't stand. This is my reading of the situation, having seen him talking about Tommy Robinson so much. He can't stand the fact that Tommy Robinson, as a journalist, which he is, you don't need a certificate to be a journalist. You don't need a certificate to be anything. Someone in my comments on the Gary video asked if I was a psychiatrist. What's a diagnosis of mental illness got to do with my Gary Stevenson videos? It was quite funny, though. I said, surely you mean psychologist or psychoanalysis, in which case, yes, I am trained. So unlucky. But Gad Sad was on there, and what's his name? Piers Morgan hilariously assumed that Gad Sad was going to be on his side, and he sort of said this sort of off the cuff kind of. I mean, you know, Tommy Robinson, he's just an idiot, and Gad Sad. Whatever you think of Gad Sad, he put forth a really sincere and convincing defense of Tommy Robinson. And again, this isn't about Tommy Robinson. This is about Piers Morgan. And Piers Morgan was shifting in his seat. He looked so uncomfortable. He kept trying to sort of interrupt Gad Sad, and Gad Sad wouldn't let him have it. And Gad Sad just shut him up, basically. And at the end, Piers Morgan done that thing where he sort of goes, and he went, anyway, moving on to, it was like, you didn't see that coming, did you stupid bastard? Oh, it was absolutely beautiful.
Did you see Keir Starmer literally short circuit sitting next to Trump? Bev Turner from GB News, kept asking questions. She's been really good.
I saw the bit where Trump was talking about free speech and Keir Starmer quickly just sort of went, we believe in free speech as well.
Yeah, that stood outside. Well, there's another clip where they're sat inside, sort of Oval Office style.
I'll find it. What do I search?
Well, I don't know. Bev Turner, GB News. Someone in the chat help us out, because to be fair, I forget the exact question she asked.
Bev Turner, GB News, Starmer. Would that make sense?
Yeah.
All right, I'll show you the page and you can tell me whether you recognise any of them. I know it's not easy, but you might. No, I'm serious, because you see these videos.
I'll give it a go.
Is it that short or is it this one?
No, it's the top one, I think, because they're sat down inside.
Starmer faces tense questions from Bev Turner. Are you envious of Trump? You think it's that one?
Quite possibly, yeah.
Well, it's only a couple of minutes. Hang on. Could you read a sound there? Oh, I haven't got it on. You couldn't.
And this might not be it, because I think it's. I'm pretty sure she asked Trump something, and then he kind of his answer just throws Starmer into a spin.
Well, that was the one I saw. I thought when he says about freedom of speech, and he says, "I like it too." All right, what about this one? Bev Turner asked Donald Trump. Oh, it doesn't look like there's.
She's done it over and over again. She got him to sit there and slag off Mayor of London and Starmer to jump in and go, "Oh, he's my friend." I was waiting for someone to go, "Is he your friend?"
Oh, no one knows what one it is. That's a shame. Starmer looked like a little boy being told off.
Well, go through them later on yourself and check it out, because there's 3 or 4 really good ones. It's hilarious, but one of them he just completely short circuits and for like a good second and a half can't answer while he just squirms.
Yeah,
just gives it.
Well, that's not helping me out too much now. 1 hour and 48. Right, people, I am going to lock the door on this. I'm just going to check over on stories on Buy Me a Coffee. Oh, I've got another one from Floella. Bought me a future. Floella says, all that talk of stealing food from children has made me hungry. And then dropped in a donation. That's Machano Kaprasha Kuki. I'll give Entropy a little bash for what it's worth. Thank you, Floella. Haven't seen you in the chat, but nice that you've been busy over on the Donatiati. And here is your moment in the sun. Thank you very much. This is all towards the cover of my novel, so it is really appreciated. All that, I've just realised what you said, by the way. All that talk of stealing food from children has made me hungry. That's not funny. You'll get me in trouble. You'll get me in trouble on Substack. Listen, anyone, I said this at the top of the show, but anyone who took my advice about certain stocks, AMD, SoFi, Meta, that I said when Trump called the first round of tariffs and it all went downhill. It's been what a turnaround. You know what guts me is I've got a mate and his family own half of Cambridgeshire. Like, he's that rich. And he always comes to me for investing advice. And I tipped him. I said, when Trump put that first round of tariffs in and the stock market had like a 20% correction, bordering on a crash, but it was a 20% correction, which you'll get in the stock market every 2 years anyway. I said, yeah, I have got some tips right now. Meta, SoFi, AMD. There was another one, but I can't remember off the top of my head. Palantir was a couple of years ago, wasn't it? He bought all 3 of them, but he put 100 grand on each of them. And he's up about 450 grand. And this is what upsets me, because I'm playing with like 3 grand. That's what my ISA is, 3 grand. Now, I've done well out of those stocks. And it's funny though, if you've got money, you can make money. He writes to me, and like sometimes he's all joking. He's like, "Oh, I'm down 50 grand today. I might just sell everything and put it on crypto." And I'm sitting here thinking, well, it's good that you can laugh about it, because if I fuck up, I don't eat. And it's true, because I won't be my business is still struggling, and we've had a pretty good month, but it's a bit up and down. But for him, it's just fun and games, listen to this. A geezer in NA, in Narcotics Anonymous, went up to him after a meeting. He's got quite a posh voice, this bloke, predictably. So this geezer went up to me, said, "Oh, I'm doing this fund. It's an investment fund." And he had all this paperwork and this nice glossy little book. He said, "Take that home, and my card's in there. Give us a call." 3 days later, this geezer I'm talking about gave him 200 grand. a complete stranger. And I said to him, I said, what the fuck are you doing? He said, nah, he said, it's brilliant. He said, it's all quadruple leveraged. I said, I've been in this game for a while. I've never heard quadruple leveraged. I said, did he tell you that if this fails, it's leveraged on another stock? And if that fails, he went, that's it. I said, yeah, it's just a lie. He's lied to you. 2 weeks later, he went, I lost all that money. I went, what, 200 foul? He went, yeah. He said he sent an email out saying we're over leveraged, but we're confident. And I said to him, I said, what? 1 day later, you got another email saying it's all gone down the pan. He went, yeah. And you know what it made me think? In NA or any 12-step, NA, AA, CA, SLA, SL, there's loads of them. But you've got loads of very vulnerable people who have just got clean. And when you've just got clean, you're a bag of nerves, and it's a hard time for you. But when you go to the Soho meetings or the meetings out in like Mayfair and that, there's a lot of very vulnerable and very rich people. And I wouldn't be surprised, and it sounds like it could be quite a good story actually, but I wouldn't be surprised if there aren't professional con men targeting. Sorry, my missus is playing my toes. Sorry, I'm trying to talk. I wouldn't be surprised if there's not professional con men targeting NA meetings in rich parts of London. Just going in there, listening to everyone share, thinking he's got money, he's an idiot, he's vulnerable, I'll target him, and making an absolute fortune. He got 200 grand out of that bloke. He only met him 3 days before. And I said to him, has he been back to that meeting at all? He went, I haven't seen him since, actually. I was like, right. I said, if you'd have given me that 200 grand, I'd have fucking trebled that by now, you fucking idiot. And then listen to this. He's a lovely bloke, but then he started saying to me, he said, I'm down 200 foul on that. I'm down 200 foul on these meme coins I invested in. I'm like, what are you doing spending 200 grand on meme coins? I said, at least Bitcoin or, Ethereum, but, just shit coins, 200 grand. And he all laughs about it and that. And he says, I'm bloody skint. He's like, I'm skint. He said, I really don't know what I'm going to do about it. And then I do a video call with him. And there's this 8-bedroomed, fully detached house, right, on the Welsh coast. It's got its own fucking beach. And he's there telling me he's skint. I'm like, what are you doing there? He says, I'm just building a little rockery. I went, why? He went, this is one of my pads. Oh yeah, you're so skint. It's funny, isn't it? You're broke. I mean, even in Wales, it's got to be worth about 5 mil. It's a beautiful old Edwardian property on the Welsh coast. I'm skint. Jesus. She disappeared. Right. Where am I? That's all good. Right, Packer, what did you make of tonight's show?
That went some places, didn't it? Right.
It did. We jumped around a little bit, had some clips. We haven't had some clips for a while. I hope you all appreciated me trying to keep my voice down a little bit more. I hope you could hear me. Not that it really matters. Yeah. And is Dave's Waffle House on later?
It'll be on in 15 minutes approximately. In fact, the opening, the ever-extending opening was probably already
it goes on for hours, doesn't it? I tried to put it on while I'm writing, but it's just terrible dance music. It's just like, fucking hell. But there you go. People, thank you hang on, I've got a message from Packer that he probably sent about an hour ago.
There'll be nothing.
I haven't got a clue what that means. Not a clue. All I do know is it's made my page, everything's disappeared. Oh, there it is. It's back. Right, Packer, I'll let you go, brother. Thank you very much. It's been an absolute pleasure. We've had over 100 for the old day. And people, listen, before you run away, as you tend to, before the outro music, which is really just a little bit more time for you to donate, my book will be available in November. So you don't need to think about Christmas presents. You can just go to Amazon, buy 5 of my books, or however many gifts you usually buy. And that's bosh, 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 bosh. So I've saved your Christmas. You haven't got to go through all that hassle. You know what it's like. You feel like a present prat walking around town, you know, buying things and all that. And the Amazon will even wrap it up for you in Christmas paper. I wrote it for you. And listen, it isn't a postmodern hard work. It's a very funny, kind of tragic, autobiographical story of when I was 14 years old. And you'll find out some things about my childhood which might surprise you. Not all that horrible stuff with the magician. I was a bit older. I'm 14 in it. It was 1986, but I'll tell you what, it's a lovely nostalgia. The nostalgia trip, you'll be like, oh, fuck, yeah, Zig Sputnik. You know? Yeah, so keep an eye out.
I was 16 in 86, so it was a very good year for me. I left school.
You were 16 in 86. Hang on, that makes you 2 years older than me.
Yeah.
You old chap. Oh. What a weird, not even strangely aggressive, but not an insult. You old chap.
I'm getting there.
You're doing all right, son. Thank you, Packer. It means the world to
me. Go
and
find your missus.
Yeah, she'll be all right. Getting a mate is nothing to eat. Look after yourself, Packer. Take care, mate. I'll see you soon. Probably stream tomorrow night, actually. Yeah, ta-da. Show Packer some love in the chat, people. I know I say it all the time, but you don't see it from my point of view. When he's not here now, it's nightmares for me. I don't know why. I just feel it's like now. It's just like, hang on. And as I always say, that happened organically, and that's the way it's got to be. Because if you try and contrive things like that, nah, it doesn't happen. It doesn't happen at all. Hang on. I'm just racking something good up for you. That'll do. Lovely Jabali. Right, listen, I want to thank Packer. I want to thank everyone who donated. Let me just check those quickly, so in case I miss some people. I still don't know who someone is, so maybe they're trying to stay anonymous. Apologies. No, we're good there. And we are good on... Oh, Entropy just said it's a bad gateway. Tell me about it. Okay, so we're going to go to there. So yeah, I want to thank everyone who donated. I want to thank Packer. But most of all, as always, I want to thank all the scrubs who come to watch these streams. I love this community. I love this streaming. I got 34 new subscribers in the last week, so I will be making some more videos about things that people give a shit about rather than my usual things. I started making a video about the origins of numbers because I thought that's interesting, but that's why my videos get 500 views, because most people don't care about the origins of numbers. Whereas if you talk about Gary Stevens, I'm not going to make any more Gary Stevenson videos, by the way, but you know, it's basic. That's what Asmongold does. He just does videos about things that are already popular. And so you get all their supporters, and whether you like them or not, you get people watching it. Don't get me wrong. I'm not going to sell out to just making commercial content. It'll be a mixture, but otherwise my channel won't grow, and it needs to grow, because when it grows, you've got a little bit more clout and you can start getting glamour models. Like famous people on who will be a bit more interesting. It will only be glamour models. I'll tell you what, if I had 500,000 subs, Lucy Pinder would be on this stream every Friday. People, I've got a bit of music that might bring back a few memories. Look after yourselves, people. I will be streaming tomorrow, Friday night special. I'll probably do a long one tomorrow, actually. This one's only been 2 hours, so I might go through. I might start early. And now I will be writing my book, the second draft. So remember that. Just open your diary, Christmas present sorted, Dangerfield's book. Here is some music. Thank you all. Lots of love. Bless your cotton socks. And ta-da.
All the world loves a lover. All the girls in every land are meant to know. The joy of loving is to live in the world of man love. There's someone who's waiting for you. Soon the world will be yours for a toy. Music starts to play, night will turn to day. Darkness disappears when the one you love is near.
Thank you, Dottie. I'll see you coming.
All the world loves the lovers, all the girls in every land are meant to know. Joy of loving.
The pleasure's all mine, mate. Thank you, Baker. That's really
in the world of
nice one, brother.
There's a place that is waiting for you. A world
Yeah,
where the
I
best
know. I
in
regret
life is
it
free.
almost every second of my
Where
life.
time is always spring, happiness is king. The dreams you dream come true when the one you love loves you. You're in man love.
I remember I'd walk home from Belgrade on New Year's Day without a coat on, hungover as fuck, like 12 miles to go, just thinking you fucked it up with Joe Guest last night, you fucking idiot. Wow.
All the world loves a lover. All the girls in every land are meant to know. Joy of loving
Cheers,
is to
Baz.
live
Leave a comment, brother.
in the world of man love.
Good to hear, Jessica. Nice one, Anglo. Well, that was a surprisingly positive end to the show. People in the chat, it's good to hear that things are going well for Jessica. Go and check out the Beetle on my Substack. Leave a comment. Listen, if you don't like it, let me know and let me know why, and I'll engage with you. And I won't engage with you trying to tell you it's good. If you say you don't like it, I'll trust you. You know, why? If you know, I don't expect everyone to like everything I write. That would be just crazy. I'd be more worried about that. But leave a comment. That would be handy. Excuse me. Look after yourselves, people. Here's a massive hoyt for you. I'll see you tomorrow night. Probably start about 5 o'clock, if not earlier. I might do a bit of a marathon tomorrow. Hoyta.